Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Yes, I'm late. I know. Good Lord, give me a break. Sometimes you just want to get a little bit of extra sleep, and that's what I did this morning. It's good to see everybody. Hope you're doing well. Yes, it is a beautiful day. Pot meat kettle, but hey, yes, shame on me. I was actually enjoying making some coffee this morning. Pup is still feeling punky. Couldn't figure out what's going on with him, but he seems to be doing better. But yes, I overslept this morning. It felt good, really good. Mm. How is everybody doing this fine morning? I'm glad to see that you're all doing just wonderful. It's a song not too fond for you. Wolfram, good to see you. Good to see you. Harris, of course. Bodisha, wonderful. Wolfram, need to have another movie night on Discord. Yeah, there you go. I'm looking for a puppy. Lost mine in November. He was 17. Oh, sorry to hear that. I think we were talking about that not too long ago. That's so awful. Hey, Rare Alcy. And awesome. K Marshall. Good to see all you guys. Man, oh man. Well, I guess you're really wanting me to get this thing on the can't wait for a trial. Uh, yeah, I understand. I'm exactly with you on that. This is just, it's ridiculous, but there's only so much that you can do. You are limited on, your judge that can't shut his cake hole whenever he needs to. You've got, Lynette that causes just extra problems by just creating more problems. Those are always fun. And it's also very disruptive to everybody else, you know. For the Hales, it's really disruptive. Farrell, good to see you. Good morning. Yeah, it's been an interesting day. Oh, heck yeah. Risha, it's a newest member. Thank you very much for joining up here. That's really cool. Um I'll be having my Discord open up probably this weekend. I sort of figured a few things out I wasn't too sure about. But yeah, I should have that set up pretty soon. So just keep that in mind. I'll be opening up Discord, and then I probably won't be doing as late at nights as I've been doing. I enjoy doing the stuff with MG, but I think even 1 o'clock is starting to burn me. So I'm gonna have to cut that back about an hour, and I think that'll give me enough time to get some sleep. It happens. It happens. My oh my. But yeah, it's I, I think someone asked if I was burning candle at both ends, and no, not really. I just sometimes I like to get a little bit of extra sleep. I mean, I would be getting up about the same time anyway, doing the same things I do. That's why I was moving my schedule to more of a 7 o'clock time. I felt that 7 o'clock felt just a little bit better. Gives me time to oversleep if I want to. But yeah, I usually don't work on Fridays, so Friday shows might go a little bit longer. Um, might might change Fridays up a little bit, just a tad bit. Maybe do something a little bit of extra special for you guys. Make it a little more fun. Um, Something I've got in the works, but I haven't set it up yet. As soon as I do, it'll be we'll take care of it then. But in the meantime, we get to talk about them there, transams, or what do they call them? They call them non-binary. Means they're not a one or a zero, is I guess what they're saying. But it appears that they were. It's amazing to me that it took forever for them to come up with an autopsy, and it's really sad that it took them forever to come up with a autopsy on this teen next Benedict. It's like eggs Benedict. It's just I don't know why why you'd want to name your child that. So this is, I guess her name is Malia Pila. Was outside the home. Maybe image prevented by Maya. Maybe, I don't know. It's really weird. If you could just stop with all the foolishness, this would probably be a lot easier to read. But in Oklahoma City, death of a student the day after a fight inside an Oklahoma high school restroom has been ruled it's suicide. Okay, everybody was trying to blame the death on a head injury. The summary autopsy report was released more than a month ago. Wow. After the death of 16-year-old Next Benedict, a student at Osceola High School, family members said Benedict had been bullied at school, and the teenager's death in February drew concern from the alphabet community, as well as the attention from Oklahoma's governor at the White House. From the beginning of the investigation, Owasso police observed many indications that this death was the result of a self-deletion. Owasso Police Department Lieutenant Dick Boatman said in a statement, however, investigators do not wish to confirm that information without the final results being presented by the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's Office. So, and this is just so sad and heartbreaking. 9/11 call on February 8th. Sue Benedict, the teen's grandmother and legal guardian, had expressed concerns about a head injury. The teenager was conscious and alert after the fight earlier that day, when police were told about the attack by three girls that occurred after the teen squirted them with water. And you notice they just say teen because they can't distinguish whether it's a male or a female. Okay, got it. They expressed concern that the attack by three girls that occurred at Atlanta last month. Reports showed Benedict had toxic levels of two drugs in the system and died of an overdose. And that's so sad. Complete autopsy will be released 10 days. Accordance with law, the medical examiner's office said Boatman would not confirm whether or not police found a note from Benedict at the scene. Well, why do you even put it in there then? A lawyer for the Benedict family, Jacob Bibby, told the AAP that he was working on a statement from the family Wednesday, but declined to comment further. The video footage from the hospital the day of the altercation, Benedict explains to an officer that three girls have been picking on, and that their friends because of the way they dressed. Benedict claims that in the bathroom, student said something like, "Why did they laugh like that?" referring to Benedict and their friends. And so I went up there and poured water on them, and then all three of them came at me. Okay. Paramedics responded to the family's house and performed CPR on the teen before rushing to the hospital, where they later died. Family members have said Benedict was non-binary, which means they didn't identify as anything. Bully and harassment have significant impact on students, and tragically, many of these youth believes that suicide is the only option for people. That is not true. If you're feeling like you're isolated or left alone, there is a national crisis hotline that you can call for these things. I suggest doing so. It's really sad that now they'll change the language in this story, because they could have just said that that these girls did not do any head injury, and that these girls did not cause this. Of course, they'll try to find a way to blame the girls no matter what. Yeah, shit, high school is hard enough now. Kids have to deal with mental illness resulting from the world shutting down for 2 years, and mental illness from other things that are going on. If this child could have sought help, mental help, like serious mental help before going this route, it might have saved a lot of people's skin. It's so sad. They name themselves now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I can name them too. Doesn't mean Dick Diddley. Really doesn't. They should be, yes, they should be treating these as mental illness instead of the trend we cut down a lot of this crap. I agree. I agree. That would be the most logical thing to do is treat it as it is mental illness, not as not as anything else. And it's good to see you this morning, Wallstrom. I hope you're doing well. You're doing wonderful, 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 wonderful. And speaking of you know kooky stuff in the news, well, how about we talk about this one here? Former Mormon bishop highlighted in AP investigation arrested on felony SA charges. Good job, Mormon minister, church, bishop, whatever. Former bishop of the Church of what is that? Jesus of Latter-day Saints, who was featured in a press investigation on how the church protects itself from allegations of SA, was arrested by police in Virginia this week after being indicted on charges he SA'd his daughter while accompanying her on a school trip when she was a child. Jeez Louise. Police and federal authorities have been searching for John Goodrich after a grand jury in Williamsburg on January 17th found probable cause that he committed 4 felonies, included eating grapes by force, threatening or intimidation, forcible, something about Gomorrah, and 2 counts of felony aggravated SA by a parent of a child. Dude, these charges were filed after the AP investigation revealed how a representative of the church, widely known as the Mormon Church, employed a risk management playbook and has helped it keep sexual abuse cases secret after allegations surfaced that Goodrich abused his daughter Chelsea, now in her 30s, at their home in Idaho, as well as on a school field trip in the DC area 20 years ago. Good Lord, 20 years ago? And they're just now getting to bringing charges. I mean, that's just rough. Wallace. This morning's thumbnail was one of the AI storytime clips. Y'all making me laugh so hard. Yeah, that one was especially for you, Eris. I thought you would like that. It's something that I've been able to do now that I've got monetized. It's really cool. All the little things that open up for you whenever you reach that level. And by no means am I like this big YouTube channel, but I will say it is so much fun to be able to add those extra little things in there. I'm enjoying it so much. Oh man, what is this? And there we go. See, I'm used to having that third screen, and now that it's gone, it makes it so much more difficult. So much more difficult to do this. But yeah, so I hope this case will finally bring justice to Chelsea's SA. She said that in a statement to the AP. And she's grateful it appears that Commonwealth of Virginia is taking one event of SA assault more seriously than years of repeated assaults that were treated in Idaho. Call Wednesday, John Goodrich's cell phone went immediately to voicemail. Tommy Norman, Williamsburg defense attorney for John Goodrich, declined to comment, saying he was still familiarizing himself with the case. Williamsburg Police Department also did not respond to multiple requests. Goodrich's arrest in Virginia comes nearly 8 years after he was arrested in Idaho on similar charges. Chelsea and her mother, Lorraine, went to Idaho police in 2016 to report wide-ranging allegations of abuse. Those charges were eventually dropped after a key witness in the case, another bishop whom John had made a spiritual confession about him, and his daughter refused to testify. While the details of that confession have not been made public, the church excommunicated Goodrich, as they should have. They probably should have hauled him in, had him arrested, and the same for that bishop that refused to come forward. It's just so bad. Of course, we're happy to know the Little Mermaid has been around more often the last few days. Oh. The AP's investigation was based on hours of audio recordings of Chelsea's 2017 meetings with Paul Riding, a Utah attorney who is head of the church's risk management division, which works to protect the church against SA. Chelsea went to Riding for help in getting the bishop to testify about John's spiritual confession. During the recorded meetings, Riding expressed concern for what he called John's significant sexual transgression. But when the bishop, whose position in the church is akin to a Catholic priest, could not testify, he cited a clergy penitent privilege loophole. Man, no, that wouldn't fly with me. That wouldn't fly with me. That would set me off right there. Like, you're telling me that because someone comes forward and confesses, it's there's a certain thing, like attorney-client privilege that you're not supposed to say anything if your client does because you could get disbarred. I don't know. There's a that would be a touchy one. Do something illegal. I think that or plan on doing something illegal that should be brought up. Hmm. And this guy clearly had no, sorry. I got problems with that. Without that testimony, prosecutors in Idaho dropped that earlier case, invoking the clergy's privilege as just one faucet of the risk management playbook that Writing employed in the Goodrich matter. Writing offered Chelsea and her mother $300,000 in exchange for confidentiality. Oh, Jesus. And a pledge to destroy the recordings of their meetings, which they had made at the recommendation of an attorney. And without Writing's knowledge, the AP obtained the similar recordings that were made by the church member at the time who attended the meetings. That's good. Church also employed the use of a so-called SA helpline, which Bishops Goodwin called after his confession. Phone number set up by the church for bishops to report instances of SA. Instead of connecting church victims to counseling or other service, however, the helpline often reports serious allegations of abuse to the church law firm. Man, they were just backing themselves up against a wall. In a statement for the AP, the church said the abuse of a child or any other individual is inexcusable. Well, apparently they did not believe it at the time, or else they would have gotten this taken care of much earlier. News coverage of the Idaho case brought out another victim after learning about the allegations. 53-year-old single mother accused him of having, after her drug, Halcyon, controlled substance. John Goodrich often used to sedate patients during dental procedures. Oh, geez, he was a dentist? She alleged that Goodrich drugged her previously after she cut off SA with him, or any sort of relationship with him. At the end, John Goodrich reached a plea agreement in the case and escaped the charges. Chelsea Goodrich approached the AP with her story, she said, because her father remained free and practicing dentistry in Idaho with access to children. Jeez. Yeah. On Tuesday, after authorities spent 2 weeks searching for him, he turned himself into police in Williamsburg. Court official told Chelsea, and he posted bond. He will not be allowed to leave Virginia during legal proceedings, the court official said. Well, I'm surprised. I am absolutely surprised that would be what happened. It's going to be an interesting case if they can bring this thing to head. Speaking of bringing things to a head, look at this. Storm carrying massive gorilla hail hits parts of Kansas and Missouri. I don't know about gorilla hail. That's not really that big. I've seen much bigger. I mean, they're big, but I've seen much bigger. Massive chunks of hail pelted parts of Kansas and Missouri on Wednesday night. I hope that our wonderful rabbit is doing well. Unleashing a possible tornado. At least one confirmed tornado was reported, Alta Vista, Kansas. According to media reports, the Weather Service said quarter-size hail and gusts up to 60 were expected across Kansas. Description of the hail ranged from the size of golf balls and apples to softballs and baseballs. I've seen some softball-sized hail. That's pretty awesome. Good morning from Denver, Colorado. Good morning. Good to see you. Glad you can make it in here. And yes, love always conquers. Alan Sosonowski, senior meteorologist at AccuWeather, previously said the predicted hail was deemed gorilla hail because it had the potential to be so big. Gorilla hail is a term coined by Reed Timmer, a storm chaser who calls himself an extreme meteorologist. Reed Timmer, that name sounds familiar. Sosonowski said, in this case, the term might fit. Some hail from northern central Kansas to northern central Missouri could be as big as a baseball. when you get up to tennis ball, baseball size, or God forbid, softball size, that can do a tremendous amount of damage. I don't know. The softball size hail that I saw, it wasn't really going to do much damage. I mean, I would go out and hit it with a baseball bat. So you can see physically see them coming out of the sky in this little arc, and they because they bunched up so much together that you don't get as much. It's not like you're getting pelted by but it's just a bunch of small pieces of hail that have melted together. It's pretty cool. Same way with baseball. I mean, yeah, they can cause some damage, but not as much as you would think because they tend to be not as tightly packed whenever they start to get that large. And those hail balls that he was showing were melted where he probably squeezed them together to make them look a little bit more compact. Yeah, traffic came to a standstill for a time on Interstate 70 because of the falling hail. Large hail chunks and at least one cracked windshield. Yeah, see, you have to hit it just in the right spot, and you're talking about hundreds of pieces coming down. So, okay, be right back. Good morning, Tom H. Wonderful. Good to see you. Good to see you. Anybody that's coming in, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Sorry, I was running late this morning. Got a little bit of oversleeping done. You know how that goes. It felt wonderful. And then of course the pup's still not feeling the greatest, but he's doing good. If you're in this warning, get away from windows and shelter inside now. The National Service posted on X. Well, this is ridiculous. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I get warnings. Like the little alarm, whatever that comes off on your phone for like Amber Alerts, that kind of stuff. Usually it's a Corolla or a Lexus and they're usually a car, and either they're red or black or white. It's just completely ridiculous that they can do that, but yet on X they're going to post, "Get inside now." Like I don't get notifications like that. I don't. I can honestly say that I get notifications 2 days after. Like X is completely weird and screwy like that. Like I don't get notifications right away. It's like, oh, this is a really cool story. Oh, that happened like 2 days ago. Like, why am I just now getting notified of it? It's not like it was just posted. It's like literally 2 days later. I don't know. I think we'll get into that a little bit later. The Weather Service said storm had previously produced softball size or 3.5 inch, or as you like to say in them European countries, 8.9 centimeter chunks. The Weather Service also issued severe thunderstorms watch for parts of Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. Well, you guys up there in their breadbasket states, you be careful out there. Don't need anybody getting injured with some hail, and be safe. Be very safe. While the hail threat lessens Thursday, so this is mainly going to be going through Thursday morning. So that would have been overnight. The biggest threat on Friday is for torrential rain, perhaps up to 4 inches. Jeez Louise. And a line from central Louisiana up through Arkansas. Oh, so that includes that won't be hitting us. Well, that's really sucks weather. Oh, you did have you had a freak hailstorm in September last year, which almost destroyed the town. My car was wrecked, mostly golf ball size stones. Yeah, golf ball usually the size that's gonna do the most damage because those get really tightly packed and they can come in large clusters. Uh, yeah, those will do some damage. But just whenever you get up to the softball size, because if they form that quickly, they're not very solid, and they'll shatter on impact. Like I said, I could go out there with a baseball bat and hit them, and they would they would just explode into a million little pieces. That's fun. That was New Mexico. Yeah, when I lived in New Mexico, I would see. I think the whole time I lived there, I saw maybe 15 tornadoes, something like that, altogether. In the one, two, three. See, what was it? Trying to think here when we moved there. Yeah, it would have been 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Or was it 84? Yeah, yeah, it was yeah, it was 84 we moved there. So 84, 85, 86, 87, 89, 90. So in 6 years I was there, I saw about 15 tornadoes. It was crazy. It was crazy. Watching them just rip across the desert. Tornadoes, dang it. Try getting them tornadoes. Get it right. Tornadoes. Damn it. I'm so off with that. Oh my. Oh, this is cool. I I I saw this. So, I might buy and sell a little bit of stocks. You never know. So I saw this the other day, and I was like, yeah, something's going on with the Dollar Tree. I think their stock was like really down. And it says Dollar Tree swung to surprise fourth quarter loss and will close nearly 1,000 stores after the retailer slashed the value of a rival chain it acquired almost a decade ago. Dollar Tree plans to close $600 Family Dollar stores. So Dollar Tree and Family Dollar, are basically the same thing. Uh, After a bidding war with rival Dollar General, but it had difficulty absorbing the chain. On Wednesday, Dollar Tree said it would record this impediment across it. Dramatic calls at coup de grace for the rather botched acquisition of the Family Dollar chain, which caused Dollar Tree nothing but a hassle since it was completed. Go figure. Saunders said in an email that nearly 12% of the currently Dollar stores will be closing for the next 3 years. Shares of the Dollar Tree tumbled more than 14% on Wednesday. Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty drastic. I was like, why has this gone like belly up? Yeah, you got to be careful of making investments. And no, I don't give any investment advice. I'm just saying that it's bad. Wall Street anticipates the first quarter earnings of $1.70 on revenue. Oh man, yeah, that's rough right there. This is the fun part of gambling. Let's see what I did. I did this sort of smart, I think, in a way. Like I take a little bit of money and I have fun, and that money is not involved in anything else, like any of the other money outside of our family. Um, make try to make good wise investments, and sometimes they turn out okay, sometimes they turn out crap, but it's my money and I could do what I want to. Small amount doesn't affect the family at all because we have everything set up on one side where all of this is like our bills and emergency reserve money, keep that all set aside. And then I've got like this other money that I would normally blow on, video games, for example. Instead of buying a bunch of video games, I just take that money and it goes into that little slush fund or whatever. And you make investments how you feel do well. And I've done pretty good with it. I don't know. It's really, really difficult for me whenever I see how my wife's father like blew through all of her college fund. Um, I mean, he literally ripped everything out of her college fund and blew it on the stock market and lost all of it, like all of it, bad. I think he did it to all three children. It was basically a college fund for all three of them. So she busted her ass and paid her way through college. And if you know anything about law school and how much it costs, yeah, that's what she paid for out of her own damn pocket. You know, taking out loans or whatever she needed to do. And I think towards the end of her college, her mom helped her out quite a bit, which was absolutely awesome. But yeah, her dad pretty much blew through everything. So whenever you see that, I tend to be a little more cautious of of where I spend my monies, and how I do things. Like if I lost everything in the stock market, like all of it just completely tanked and there was no recovering it, that's mine. it's, it doesn't affect me one way or the other. I mean, it's good to see it grow, but it's much easier whenever you don't have that issue. And we were talking about Musk earlier. Well, of course, this is pretty damn funny, and it lit up the internet yesterday, which I laughed my ass off whenever I saw this. Musk abruptly cancels the Don Lemon show on X after he sits for the program's first interview. Oh God, this was glorious. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh, Don Lemon! Oh my gosh!" Just completely, just was like, like, dude, you totally bonkered this one, totally bonkered it. Oh man, given on one of the biggest platforms, and there's a reason why he was uninvited. And it's one of those where you never once you read the story, you go, "Oh my gosh, this is too damn funny." And just a second, I forgot to do this because I'm about as bright as a dim bulb. And if you, there we go. I forgot that. Sometimes I like to send these invites out. I totally bonkered on this. Never even send any out. I'm so horrible like that. I do this quite often where I'm sitting there going, "Oh yeah, I wonder why nobody's hit me up." Sometimes people hit me up on this, but never did. I was like, "Well, that makes sense." Oh my gosh. Let me do this. Sorry about that. Lemon is such an arrogant hack. I'm glad he got shut down. Well, no, he didn't get shut down. I mean, he just got it canceled on X. I mean, he still has his show, but yeah, could you imagine that getting fired the day after? San Francisco. Oh, go figure. Elon Musk abruptly canceled the Don Lemon show on his social media network X after the former CNN anchor recorded an interview with the billionaire for its yet unaired first episode. So it's going to be Don Lemon's episode will come up, and then you can judge for yourself why he got shit canned. Musk owns X, formerly known as Twitter. Yes, we know this shit. And frequently proclaims himself a free speech absolutist. In a post on X, a San Francisco based company said only that after careful consideration, it decided not to enter into commercial partnership with the show. Don Lemon is welcome to publish its content on X without censorship, as we believe in providing a platform for creators to scale their work and connect with new communities. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that absolutely awesome? That he's saying, no, you're welcome to do that. We're just not going to fund you. And there might be a reason why they decided not to fund him. Maybe after you see the interview, you'll understand why. And of course, he'll have that edited and chopped up because that's the kind of person that Lemon is. Instead of being able to, show the whole interview from beginning to end, they'll chop it up. They can't help it because they want to take all the bad stuff out that they say, and you'll notice that it'll be disjointed and it won't make a whole lot of sense. Usually that's what happens with these interviews. They'll ask a question, they'll get an answer that is none related to what the question is, what they asked, and they'll edit that one in. So you'll see that kind of stuff happen. Um, and and more than likely he was asking him probably some pretty rude questions that were just like, yeah, that's not appropriate for any sort of platform, you know. But it's our choice. We cannot hire you, but we're going to let you post your stuff up there anyway. I'm sure that'll be actually a pretty big hit whenever that comes out. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elon is laid into him. Uh, in a video post on X, Lamont declared that Elon Musk is mad at me and that he will be airing his interview with the Tesla CEO on YouTube and post it via podcast on Monday. Okay, cool. Lamont didn't go into specifics about the source of Musk's alleged unhappiness, but wrote, throughout our conversation, I kept reiterating to him that although it was tense at times, I thought it was good for people to see and hear our exchange and that they would learn from our conversation. But apparently, free speech absolutely doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me. No, I think you get that wrong. Like, it's not about, maybe it was your tone of voice. And he didn't say you couldn't post it on X. He just said Yeah, we're not going to pay you to post it. How's that? In a later CNN discussion with Le Monde on Monday, anchor Aaron Burnett played clips of his Musk interview, in which the Tesla and SpaceX CEO grew testy when asked about content moderation spread of hate speech on the X platform. In the clip, Lemon asked Musk if he believed that he and his social platform held any responsibility to moderate hate speech on X. He singled out the spread of the Great Replacement Theory, and its most extreme form falsely contends that the Jews are behind a plot to diminish the influence of white people in the US. Good Lord. It's like, no, like, stop. And of course, Musk replied sharply that he doesn't have to answer questions from reporters. The only reason I'm in this interview is because you're on a platform, on the X platform, and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not be doing this interview. When Lamont showed up with a question about the criticism Musk has faced over the issue of hate speech, CEO replied, I'm criticized constantly. I could care less. So it sounds to me like Musk did this out of kindness to sit down and do an interview. And if you go on the attack with someone like that, he's going to go, do I really have time for your bullshit? I've got better things I can be doing, like launching, rockets to space. That sounds more fun than dealing with your foolishness. X announced in January a new content partnership with Le Monde for the show, saying it would post 30-minute episodes 3 times a week on subjects including politics, culture, sports, and entertainment. That deal was part of the struggling platform's efforts to bolster its content offerings and attract advertisers. X also announced shows hosted by the well, if advertisers is what Le Monde brings, then do you really want to have him in there? I mean, seriously. I mean, I think they're doing better with Tucker than they are with him, and I don't think they even have any really exclusive deal. He just posts on there. Him, let's see, you got Tucker and what's the other one? Uh, Brand. Yeah, those guys have pretty much dominated a lot of the news cycle, and it's also interesting to see how much Brand has really changed, from what he was before. Yeah, he was pretty hardcore lefty. And now he seems to be coming around to seeing like how screwed up some of that stuff was. Mainly because the left just eats their own, like, like sucking the heads off of. Never mind. Ah, we call them geeks, chickens, something like that. That deal was part of the struggling platforms effort. Lamont was fired by CNN last year after his 17-year run with the network. Go figure. His ouster came a little over 2 months after he apologized for on-air comments about the then uh, candidate Nikki Hale not being in her prime, and that he made wow during his short run as a morning show host. Wow, yeah, that'll get you in trouble with the ladies saying, calling the lady old. That usually doesn't sit very well with them. Ah, jeez. I'm not saying that she's a lady, but that'll usually, like I said, left will eat its own. They Because they're saying what everybody else is thinking, except they chastise each other so much for it that they can't really tell. Uh, Brand is much more based now. I thought he was just a liberal weirdo until he changed. And it wasn't one of those overnight changes where, because I complain about that a lot, where you'll see these folks that they have this overnight epiphany, and next thing you know, they're wearing Trump hats, and they're parading around with their American flags, and they're saying Trump, Trump, Trump. He's not one of those kinds of people. It's been one of these where it was just little by little, you know, being out in the world and away from being clean off of drugs, which is awesome for him. And I mean, I know that he'll always be an addict, and he knows that too. But that he's remained like clean. He's getting, he started just over time exploring himself, exploring the world around him, and being open to everybody, and seeing that that kind of openness really brings in, a different idea. Whenever you open your mind to other ideas, you tend to get it a little bit more. And that's why the nonsensical part of like the hardcore left, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to people. That's been my observation. Whenever you go hardcore one way or the other, it becomes, it doesn't make any sense. And most people just like to freaking get along. Most people, unless you're camel toe, she's going to be go visiting a clinic that performs deaths. Camelo will on Thursday plan to tour a Minnesota clinic that performs deaths and provides other care as Democrats play up their opposition to the rollback of death rights to an effort to help reelection Joe Biden in November. It'll be the first time the president or vice president has been to a, why don't they just call it a hospital? Well, because that's right, it's not a hospital. Her trip to Minneapolis is part of a nationwide tour she began in January. I don't know how well that's going to work out for her. I mean, maybe this is something that she's running on, but isn't she like border czar or something like that? She still has, they still, do you notice how all border issues just sort of went away from all of the news channels? You like don't hear about the border anymore at all. It's like it's just gone. Like it doesn't exist. Like those issues aren't something that's ongoing. It just, oh, why would it happen? What happened over here? It's like watching the expert squirrel. It's like, damn it. Ah, the landmark ruling that legalized death nationwide. No, that is not what it was. Mm, if you don't know what this is, what the RV Wade is, all that it did is it took it away from the federal government. It took it out of the hands of the federal government, sent it back to the states, and let the states decide what's best for their state, what's best for their constituents, what their constituents want, what their people want. That's all it is. Harris is the first woman ever elected vice president. Well, okay. No lies detected there, but they didn't really elect her. They more or less elected Biden, and she just happened to be riding on the coattails of that because nobody really wanted her. Arguing that the government has no right to tell a woman what she can do with her body, unless they're going to kill them or change their gender. Then they have every right to do with it. That's thank you, government, for doing that. I was happy that they made gun control czar because I knew nothing would get done. Exactly. While Biden has vowed to be president who restores protection of role, he tends to talk about the right to choose instead of saying death. Hmm. Death rights have proved to be the potential potent issue driving voters to the polls and boosting the Democrats ever since the High Court ended the constitutional right to the procedure nearly 2 years ago. The issue could be pivotal in the presidential race and congressional contest this year. That's because everybody wants to talk about it. And just get over it. States have control. Leave it to the states to make their decision. If the states don't want to do it, then move to another state and find a state that will do it. Maybe the states are saying, killing people might not be that good of an idea. In Minnesota, the VP planned to visit a health center. Well, they call these health centers now. Wonderful. Citing that her office declined to identify the facility before she arrives there, citing security reasons. Well, go figure. Go figure that's what they're going to do, including, so they provide a range of services. So I'm really, really curious if what those services are. Do they actually like give you like eye exams? Do they do dental care? Is it possible that they say, listen, you might be a little overweight and you might want to cut down on the cheesy poofs, and here's a diet regimen I want you to do. Oh, no, 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 no. We're not that kind of health center. It's not really, it's about reproductive health. There you go. Because that's what we like to call this now. We like to call this reproductive health. And the goal of it is to stop reproducing. I'm very confused. Why would you call it reproductive health whenever the whole goal of it is to stop reproducing? Anyhow, Harris was scheduled to tour the facility. I think that's maybe that's what it is. It's the left's idea of where they have to say they say opposite of what they actually mean. Like whenever they say gun control, it's not that they want to control guns, they want to control people. It's not about the guns. And gun control is not about the guns at all. It's about getting people get in line. Get in line, bitches, get in line. Harris was scheduled to tour the facility, speak with staff, and be briefed on how Minnesota has been affected by these bans. Hmm. She'll talk about the administration has done to protect. See, they say this like it's like it's good. What about the rights to reproduce? Well, they've taken those away. She also scheduled to speak at Biden Harris campaign event tailored to women. There are no restrictions on killing children at any stage in pregnancy in Minnesota. Biden won the state by 7 percentage points in 2020 on the way to defeating the then President Trump. Well, of course, we already know that they've won enough delegates. Biden and his Democrat surrogates have been highlighting comments by Trump in which the no, it has Biden has just been told what to say and do. I don't think the guy's cognizant enough to figure anything out. Three conservative judges in high court tipping its idyllic balance in favor of eliminating the women's constitutional right to kill children with its 2022 decision in the case of Hobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. Since then, Democrats have felt encouraged by electoral victories in 22 and 23 when this was on the ballot. And in the State of the Union last night, Biden, Biden vowed that we will win again in 24. In his speech, he also said, well, in his speech, he also couldn't even say the name Laken Riley correctly. You remember her, Biden? Yeah, that poor young lady that was beaten to death by an illegal. How's that make you feel? He doesn't have any concern for it. How do you think her family feels? What a piece of garbage. Democrat leaders took advantage of the new control of both houses of the legislature to rush the bill in the first month of the legislation. They credited the backlash against the Supreme Court decision for the takeover of the state Senate for keeping the House majority in a year when Republicans expected to make gains. It is well, killing children is illegal in more than a dozen states. Imagine that. There's states that actually want to keep their population around. This includes the Minnesota neighbors of North Dakota, South Dakota, restricted in Iowa. And so that's different. That's restricted in Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. And they've experienced a surge of payments coming to the state for killing children because of restrictions elsewhere. Well, imagine that. It's a wonderful day whenever you can make it more difficult to delete children. Just saying. Sounds to me like that's a battle that should be well won and well fought. And I'm not saying that people should be arrested for doing something like that. My suggestion is maybe look at and consider that deleting children shouldn't be considered birth control. That's just my opinion. I mean, I can't make any decisions on your health. That is your health. You do what you feel best for you, and I'm just saying my opinion, and that's it. And of course, we got more things that are more of the world at large. Hooray. So we've got UN hands over first military base in Congo to begin its drawdown after decades in the country. And Kaminola, Congo. There we go. United Nations peacekeepers handed over their first military base with security forces in eastern Congo on Wednesday, part of an eventual withdrawal after decades of operating in the country. The handover comes as violence soars in the conflict-riddled region. Go figure. UN has not been able to do anything for these folks. They have armed groups seeking a share of the region's gold and other resources. They've been in the country for 25 years, with its primary mission being to protect the civilians. But frustrated Congolese say no one is protecting them from the rebel attacks leading to protests against UN missions. Last year, UN Security Council extended the peacekeeping mandate until the 20th of December, decided that its troop ceiling until June 30th should be 1,000 or 13,500 military personnel, 600 military observers and staff officers, and 2001 international police. It ordered reduction from July 11,500 to 600 and 17,000 or 1,700 employees. The mission is expected to close 14 bases in South, I'm not even going to try to say it, Kivu by June, and point the UN Security Council, which decided on lifetime for the rest of the withdrawal. The drawdown comes amid soaring violence and reeks. And hi, Whiskey 77. Good to see you. Just thought you'd randomly share that. I don't know. Just on my very first Law 2 friend was back in the Rittenhouse days. She's a really cool gal. That's pretty cool. What's up? Morning. Good to see you. Mission is expected to close 14 bases, and the M23, which alleged ties to Rwanda, has been dormant for nearly a decade, but resurfaced more than 2 years ago. Its fighters are accused of seizing swaths of land and forcing thousands of people to flee and causing dire humanitarian crisis. Well, it is the Congo, and what happens in the Congo should stay in the Congo. That's my opinion. It's absolutely horrible that we have these kind of crises going on, and yet I'm really, really, really surprised, and I've been surprised with this that all of a sudden Haiti got really quiet, that the border got really quiet. Why is it that it gets so damn silent? So damn silent. And I mean, if I do a search on Haiti through like the AP, nothing. HAI. Probably if I spelled it right, that might help too. Haiti. Do a search on the AP News search, and published. Wow, that's it. So it looks like there's one for 2021, another one for March 7th of 2024. And then there was Prime Minister agrees to design on the 12th. And then it's quiet. 13th. Traditional political power and gang power. So here we go. This is the last one. So here it is, the 14th. And this is the last one that they had on Haiti. This is the last news story that they had. It got really quiet all of a sudden, if you notice. Haiti's future is being planned on 2 tracks, traditional police power and blah, blah, blah. Haiti's future is being planned on one and on the power of gangs after a intense session of international diplomacy. In Jamaica, a group of Caribbean nationals and the United States announced Tuesday that Haiti's best hope for calming violent rests with a council of influential figures who would elect an interim leader and who could steer the country towards fresh presidential elections. As they spoke to the media, a heavily armed gang leader held an impromptu news conference in Port-au-Prince and rejected any solution led and supported by an international community. The Haitian people will choose who will govern them, said Jimmy Barbecue Chorizo. That's awesome. How would you like to have a name like Jimmy Barbecue? My name is Jimmy Barbecue Chorizo. Asian politics have lived in these two worlds for decades. Well, absolutely. Politicians and business interests have maintained on the books legal interests while employing gangs to enforce their will on the chaotic streets. Well, yeah. And weren't they? Wasn't there a certain like first family that was involved really deep in that country? I mean, they were sending a lot of funds, they were raising a lot of money, and only about 2% of those funds were actually reaching there after you took all the paychecks away from all the people that were doing all this wonderful fundraising work for them. Most of their CEOs are getting nice big chunks of change. I wonder whatever happened to all of that. That got really quiet too. Nobody's been speaking about that at all. It's just amazing to me that that just sort of, who is this? Who's this person? We don't know. Oh, yeah, you don't want to mess with the wildebeest. Prime Minister Ariel Henry announced Tuesday that it would resign once the transitional council was created. Guyana President Ifran Ali said the transitional council would have 7 voting members. 7 voting members included three traditional political parties, a civil society group known as the Montana Accord, and members of the country's powerful private sector. Transitional council includes a role for civil society along the Montana one, but some of our observers say it's far from enough. The fact that Haiti's civil society and religious sector will only have observer status on transitional council Yet he will not perish or recent history. Whatever. Who are the members of the council deciding the future of the politics? It is a presidential candidate. It is Philippe, another one named Charles Joseph, prime minister, and also on the council is Fanmi Lavalas, party backed by Aristide, and another coalition by Henry. So they've just got a bunch of politicians in there trying to determine. Yeah, see, that's why I try to explain to people the worst part about whenever you look at this, the worst part about politicians. There you go. It's just all you have to do. Worst part about politicians. Oh my God, so goofy. And so that's the latest that you're going to hear about that. I mean, that just went quiet, and that was yesterday. Growling, not growing. Ooh, sorry, dog growls are cute when appropriate. That is love. Aw. Oh yeah, here we go. So I don't know what this is about, and whenever I share this with you, I haven't read the story to know what exactly they're talking about. So you get to learn a little bit with me. Nationwide review finds patchwork of broken systems for resolving open records disputes. See, that's a lot. That's a lot of words. I sort of want to break that down a little bit. So, a review, first of all, by whom? They find systems for resolving open records disputes. So, what would be an open records dispute? That would be a FOIA, like Freedom of Information Act, right? So, they're finding a broken system for completing FOIAs. Oh, okay. That's what I'm gathering. Now, I could be wrong. And I just want to know who's doing this review. So in Huntsville, Alabama, Dana Holiday, stop with the little dashes. Miss Holyfield has worked as a nurse in Alabama for years, but never was her pay as low as it was at this Huntsville hospital. She wondered what executives for the not-for-profit facility were making, so she filed a FOIA. Okay, that makes sense. Hospital is governed by a public board and therefore subject to the state's open law records. Now, see, I don't know about the law, and this is not my expertise, so I don't know if what she's saying is true or not. Many months and roadblocks later, Miss Holyfield faced a decision, filed a costly lawsuit to get the information or give up. That's weird. This is supposed to be easy to access. I got 3 kids. I'm taking care of my mother-in-law and my husband. Our predicament represents what experts say is a fundamental breakdown of American democracy. No, that is perfect example of American democracy. What she's going through is perfect example of democracy in action. It's not a breakdown of democracy. If you want to see a breakdown of democracy, just look at where the United States is. That is democracy. And it sucks. It's one step away from socialism. Just saying. The most effective and often only option for residents to resolve open government disputes is to sue, and that's costly. Unfortunately, in the US, almost everywhere you have to go to court to enforce these laws, and that's just wrong. Absolutely. If the system requires the average person to hire an attorney to make it never works. It's bad. Nationwide review of procedures by the Associated Press and CNHI News timed to Sunshine Week found that fewer than a third of the states have offices that can resolve residents' complaints by forcing agencies to turn over documents or comply with open meetings requirements. In most states, residents have just one meaningful option when they believe an agency is illegally withholding public information to wage a legal battle. This system has a chilling effect, discouraging private citizens from finding out about everything from police investigations to how elected officials make decisions and taxpayer spending money. Well, yes, they've made it difficult for certain states. Alabama is one of these states. Holyfield began seeking records from the Huntsville Hospital, which is overseen by the Healthcare Authority in the city of Huntsville, a public corporation. In early 23, she petitioned its governing board, where attorney repeatedly rebuffed her request. Then she contacted numerous local public officials. No one could help. She finally consulted a lawyer who told lawyers it would likely cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's very true. And there's a reason why that it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. You make it difficult on someone to sue you to protect your corporate interests, because if you made it really easy to sue, then people would be suing you over the most mundane, ridiculous things just constantly. And it seems to me like this is, they're pointing something out here that could be good, could be bad. I don't know what exactly she's suing for, what she needs information for. I mean, I read in the story, and it looks to me that she's she's talking about her pay being low. Her pay is as low as it is at the Huntsville hospital. Okay. If your pay is so low and you believe that you're valuable and you're worth quite a bit more, why go through the effort of suing somebody? Maybe go to a different hospital. There might be a reason why her pay is low. And I don't know anything about this lady. I'm sure she's a wonderful person. But if your pay is low, there might be something, it might be a me problem. Just consider that. It might be a me problem and not the hospital's problem. I don't know the situation. It could be that she's probably the world's best nurse and she's getting totally screwed. And if that's the case, then I would just leave. Because see, here in the United States, you have that ability to just get up and leave. If you don't like the way that you're being treated, you just leave. Just and nobody will come work for you at a certain point, because if you feel like you're being screwed at a job, your employer is like completely taking advantage of you. Nobody wants to work for a company like that. They will leave. They'll leave in mass. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen at companies. Like people would just pack up and say, "Done. Good luck." Happens all the damn time. And you'll watch those companies fail and falter and disappear off the face of the planet. Ah, we have notified her in writing that we contend executive salaries are confidential and not subject to an open records request. However, Evans Bailey, a media law attorney in Montgomery, well, he's just a media law attorney. The significant Alabama Supreme Court rulings have held that all healthcare authorities in the state are subject to public in the state are subject to public records law. Okay, so what if they're not residing in that state? Ooh. If you're subject to open records law, you have a document that shows what the salaries are of various executives or higher level people in your government entity. That should be an open record. Your system lacks teeth. So under their review, it covered a patchwork of systems for resolving open government disputes. Some states like Arizona and Indiana have offices that can review residents' complaints, but can't compel agencies to comply. Others give attorneys general authority to issue. And that's why different states have different rules in this kind of thing. And it's like, don't you understand? Leave it to the state. If you don't like doing business in that state, then take your business elsewhere and watch the companies fail. There's a reason why you don't have plants in Detroit anymore. I mean, they're still there, but they just shut the stuff down. It's like, why would we continue doing business here? If you don't like our business, then we'll move elsewhere. That's one of the real challenges. Any of these laws, that even when they have enforcement tools built in, civil liability or criminal liability, that they're so rarely enforced. Beyond private citizens, these systems can cost taxpayers. Well, yeah, that's the trick. When LaPorte County, Indiana, prosecutor Sean Fagan took office in 23, one of his first requests was to access emails from the office's prior administration to review details about ongoing cases. The problem, those emails are on servers controlled by county commissioners who refuse to hand them over. Indiana, Attorney General AG, the state public access counselor with the Indiana prosecuting attorneys council all agreed that the state's access to public records act gave Fagan the legal right to obtain the emails. Commissioners still refused to provide them. The county attorney warned a lawsuit was likely. So did Indiana public access counselor Luke Britt, whose job was to oversee compliance. LaPorte County seemed thumbed its nose at the position of its office and other state officials on this matter, which may ultimately leave its resolution to the courts in what will likely result in expensive litigation. And yes, it will cost the taxpayers a lot of money. The warnings became reality in June when Fagan sued commissioners, but because Fagan is LaPorte County employee, taxpayers there and around the state are on the hook to pay for this litigation. The AG's office has contracted outside representation for Fagan, and commissioners have used public dollars to hire an attorney. The price of winning. There is no good price of winning. The Office of Open Records reviews appeals and issues binding decisions, which can be handled by the court. Some experts describe the office as one of the better systems for handling such complaints. Still, there can be a costly, time and consuming hurdles. And you'll also see this in a lot of other states. These kinds of issues where they're trying to get in and figure out what's going on. Of course, the rare event, Open Records appeals, and of course, he won. So why didn't they just say that? Too much writing, not enough information. We can't have a society where private citizens have to pay private lawyers to defend the law that the General Assembly enacts. That's the case we have here. Well, no, you just can't let your citizens run roughshod over what they perceive as a joke. Like I said, I don't know anything about this particular lady, whether she might be the best nurse, she could be a horrible nurse, she could be like throwing cats off a roof for all I know. I don't know anything about her. I'm sure she's a wonderful lady and would never do something like that because that would be illegal and get you all kinds of problems. Hard to navigate. Beyond varying vastly from state to state, systems have resolved open government disputes that can be complicated and daunting to navigate. They also carry hefty fees for those seeking information. And something about a videographer, he requests body camera footage, are often denied under investigatory exemptions. Well, that makes sense. In Massachusetts, the Secretary of Commonwealth can issue decisions on record disputes. Matson has appealed dozens of denials to the supervisor of records, and a letter from the office is often enough to get compliance, but he's commonly met with fees, sometimes hundreds of dollars. That's how they deter people from seeking their records. And I would almost bet that Matson is like a YouTuber. I would guess. Just saying, there's big money in those police body cam footage things. No dollars to lose. When Illinois updated its FOIA acts in 2010, it was heralded by the government watchdog groups as a national model for how they should approach. The law allows state public access counselor to issue a binding on opinions that can require agencies. Civil penalties can reach up to $5,000 per offense. One of the few states offices with such enforcement powers in transparency disputes. That authority saved Ellen Moriarty, Chicago, around $1,000 in attorney's fees after she was denied a copy of the settlement agreement by the trustee's office after multiple attempts. The chief deputy, I can't tell you how happy I am. The attorney general is going to see this through at the end. Don't care. Just a homeowner in the township who is concerned about how our money is being spent. I don't have dollars to lose, just so I can see some records. Well, those records took a while, and let me explain something really, that makes it a little closer. Okay. If there's a meeting, for example, someone takes down those meeting minutes, you have to pay that person to take down those meeting minutes. Those meeting minutes then have to be transferred over into some sort of document, whatnot. They have to be preserved. So whenever you're doing that, it costs money every step of the way to get that. And then all of a sudden you come and say, listen, I want to get copies of this. Well, here's what it's going to cost to get copies of that, because they have to cover their costs and their fees that are involved in that. So that's why it starts costing a little bit of money. And it's not that it's not available. It just costs money to get the damn stuff out. I mean, at least here in Georgia, you can view any of the documents on Odyssey for any of the court cases that are out there. I think it's Odyssey and Peach Court. You can view those documents, but you have to send a request unless they've been sealed, which they'll usually do if it's like underage child or something like that. They'll usually seal those kinds of documents. But yeah, you can get those documents off of Odyssey, Peach Court, download them. They cost you money. I mean, it can be in the thousands of dollars, and if you don't know what you're looking for, it definitely will cost you, quite a bit of money. And that could be just for a simple lawsuit, especially if you're dealing with someone that's pro se. Man, it gets expensive because and I've put that little name up under mine whenever I'm over on MGs, like paper terrorists. That's what they call them. They call it paper terrorists. That's what they do is they will file so much bullshit that has no relevance, and you have to pay for each page. Um, I would think that courts and a lot of clerks will do this. They will deny certain filings because it's inappropriate or doesn't meet the standards of filing things. Like 200 pages of with one letter on it. I think something like that they will do. They'll deny it, although because you're paying for it by the page. It's like try to make your stuff just a little clearer and more concise whenever you're doing these kinds of things. And let's see, we got some more now to some more pleasant things because let's get off of this crazy stuff that's happening, and we'll watch beauty in action. We'll watch beauty in action. How's that? Here we go. This is beautiful things that you get to see. A deer crossing the road in slow motion. Come on. Who can deny that deer just flies? Look at that. There you go. See, we're trying to bring a little bit of peace and happiness. Here we got another good one for you. This one's pretty cool. I don't understand what dude's saying, but I guess it doesn't matter. Damn it. See, it does that all the time. And we will just go back and hit play. Nope. It's gonna act all funky. We'll come back to it. So I saw, where was it? No, I can't. I don't think I can show that one. Yeah, I can't show that one, but I can show this one. This one is pretty damn awesome. Why is it being difficult?
But you just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what?
Come on.
Gentlemen, this
No, we've only got one car.
Ta-ta and farewell.
So I guess get him in the back.
One cup, look. Slave and
God, love that. That makes me laugh. No, that's not welfare at all. Oh man, that, that that made me smile. Oh, oh, geez, Louise, that really made me smile. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I've got some really good ones here that I've been holding off on. Some are better than others. Let's see how long that one is. It's 55. I'm looking for one that's a little bit longer, so that way I could go grab some more coffee. We do have one that's a little bit longer. This is gonna be good. And we will just rewind it and full screen it.
So angry and
I'm gonna grab some coffee. I'll be right
so done with the American medical system. I've not been okay for the past 3 years. I have not been able to do what people my age can do. I don't have the ability to live a healthy life. There is something wrong with me, and I don't know what it is. Every time I go to a primary doctor, they write me off and they dismiss me and they tell me I have anxiety and they push me aside and they put me on benzos. There was a time where I was on so many prescriptions I couldn't think. And so I got off of them and I still don't feel good. I never wake up and I feel good. For the past 3 years, I've never woken up and felt good. And it's exhausting. And no doctor gives a shit. So I went to a primary who did care a little. And they sent me a referral to go to cardio. I couldn't get into cardio for 2 months. So I don't even have that appointment yet, but I got an MRI because I was in a car accident 2 years ago and I hit my head on the windshield. And they never did any testings at that hospital afterwards. I just sat there in the hallway with a neck brace on for 18 hours. And so I got my MRI done. And I called to try to make an appointment with a neurologist. And the neurologist told me that I have to go to the cardiologist first and make sure that's okay. And then if there's nothing wrong with my heart, then they'll give a shit. I can't live like this anymore. I need someone. I need a doctor to care about me. I need them to help me figure out what's wrong because I can't live like this anymore. I can't do it. I don't like to wake up like this. I don't, but I can't help myself. I've done everything humanly possible on my end of things to take care of myself. I exercise as much as my body can tolerate. I eat a healthy, well-rounded diet. I journal. I go to counseling. I go to my therapy sessions. I get my steps in. I do everything I can, but there's something wrong and nobody cares. And so it's a woman thing. It is a woman thing because so many women feel the same way I do. They know that there's something wrong, and guess what? They don't care unless you're in the ground. They don't. If you're breathing, you're fine. If you're alive, you're fine. They don't care unless something actually happens to you. Why is preventative action a thing of the past? Why is the whole system set up so these women die before people even look at them? I was in the hospital once recently, and no one came in the room when my heart rate started to spike. They didn't. You know when they came in the room? The first time in 8 hours they came in the room was when I coded. Nobody cares about you unless you're dead or dying.
Maybe stay off the drugs.
I hate to feel this way. I hate to get so emotional, but I don't know why it is this way. And if this can reach somebody who can, nobody can help me. That's what sucks so bad, is there's no helping. You're stuck. You're not even stuck between a rock and a hard place. You are under the rock and you can't get out. And I know my body. I know how I feel. I know that there is something wrong. And I know that nobody will give a shit until it's too late. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's usually how it works in a hospital. We sort of figured that out. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Yeah, there's a possibility. Yeah. She just read from her script. Yeah. Her voice at a certain point, I couldn't understand what she was saying. All I heard was meh, 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 meh. This is why I don't go into mental health. I'm serious. If I went into mental health, this would be bad. It would be bad. I found this cool story, and I actually had sent this to I'd sent this to Mo because I wanted her to read it. I thought it was so damn awesome. So we did manage to get the deposition that Biden gave. This is this is really important, because it shows a lot about the about Biden's mental capacity. I and that's what really drew me to it. I had to read it 3 or 4 times to actually understand what was being said because, well, I was in a different headspace. Once I read this, it became very clear. It became very clear about our current president, where his headspace is, how wonderful, that they should keep him going. It'll make sense whenever you see this. So, Mr. Hurt, thank you for coming in on such shortish, Mr. President Biden. I'm her, President Biden. Huh? You're clearly a him, Mr. Her. No, I am her. My partner is him, President Biden. This makes no sense at all. Who are you, Mr. Her? I am her. My partner is him. The judge is you, President Biden. I am not the judge, Mr. Her. Sir, the judge is you. I am her, President Biden. It's hard to believe you're a woman, Mr. Her. I'm not a woman. You is a woman. Sorry, that's so bad. That's so bad. I couldn't help it. That made my day whenever I saw that. That made my day. Oh my gosh. Let's see. But we did find a really kind of so I found and usually whenever I pull these up, it's because I want to pull them up a little bit later. I don't know why it is that YouTube had like total ass. But this is probably one of the cutest things you're going to see for now, up until I show you something cuter. There we go. I will show you something cuter. So this turtle, look at this. He has figured it out. Look at him go. Look at him go. Chasing the cat around. Come on. You got to admit, this is pretty damn awesome. Ah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. These are the things that I do in the morning just to get my excitement up and my happiness showing. Where is the other one? There was a pretty cool one here. I can't have the music. And right about there, but we'll back it up to there. Present, share screen. And there we go. How many of you want one? I mean, come on. You gotta love it. Turtle Sanctuary. Shh. Shh. We won't talk about turtle sanctuaries around here. Yeah, sugar glider. No, I don't think that's a chinchilla. I think that is a sugar glider. Chinchillas usually are much fluffier than that. Looks a little more like a sugar glider. Just saying. Gotta turn off the music because you can't have the music playing whenever you do these things. There we go. Little puppy. That reminds me of my little dog. That looks like a miniature greyhound is what it looks like. A little adorable thing. Look at him. Look at him. Just sits there and shakes. Yeah. And it's got the most peaceful music, but of course I can't play the music because I don't want to get copyright trouble. Cute dogs. Oh, it's interesting. I'm looking to make sure that it's not going to get me in trouble. Yeah, it should work. Should work. Let me double check. Full screen. Play. Here we go.
I'm scared. You're scared.
If you
Yep. Oh my. What is that? Making sure that it's, oh no, I don't want to show that one. That would get me in trouble. Here we go. And we'll go to here. Nope, they ain't gonna let me show it. Damn it, I hate when that happens. I want to show you guys something, but it won't let me do it. Got a couple of them that are pretty good. This is the one I want to show right here. And we've got it muted, but we'll screen it. Mute the damn thing. I like when people do these kinds of like, oh, what is that? Teaser hurt. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, yes, this is what I do for fun. Oh, this is a really interesting one. Doctor in jail for more than 6 years after being caught trying to smuggle 2.5 pounds of cocaine. 2.9 kilograms hidden inside a suitcase, worth $300,000 or euros or pounds. Look at pounds, yeah. Wow. Look at the look of pure shock and dismay. Like, how did you do this? Yeah, this is at that time, you know, you're busted. Yeah. At that point, he knew his life was screwed. At that point in his life, he knew he was screwed. Oh my. But nothing like this. That is an animal that does not like the window. Got a cowbell on. Why do you put a cowbell on a horse? That'd make me mad too. That horse has some serious anger issues. Horse wants in. God. That's tempered glass. It's tempered glass. Knock knock. Yes. When you hear that dog a knocking, you don't want to give him a hard time. But we'll give you guys something a little bit more peaceful here. Because that's what I like to do. Offer a little bit of peace and serenity here.
too close.
We'll mute that because that'll get me in trouble. This is in Indonesia. Just hovering over a river, just kicking back, just gently swaying in the breeze as these little trees just float on by. That is a horse that's just been milked by MLS and is not happy about it. That's good. That's good, just Dom. What kind of glass is it? No, it's broken glass. Just Dom. Awesome. Thank you. Yes. See, I offer you peace and happiness. It's all a big tease. It's all a big tease is what it is. Mm. I do like this guy's response. It's pretty damn awesome. Let me see if it'll let me play it. Nope.
Neighborhood screaming.
Here comes Karen.
So I'm going to ask you to keep them inside.
For what
Okay,
reason?
so
I'm gonna
I
ask
am the
you
president of
to
POA.
kindly
I've had numerous
piss off.
people complaining about a noise
You know
complaint.
what POA stands for?
Numerous.
Piss off
I
America.
came out to walk the neighborhood just to see what was going on, and they are hiding in the bushes, barking at me.
Nice.
They're being kids.
I understand that,
Yeah,
but
be
when I
good.
have like
It's
multiple,
9:15 after
I
10
know,
o'clock. If
I
they're
know,
being too
but I'm
loud,
telling
we'll say
you,
something.
on our Canterbury site, I mean, I have like almost 10 houses now contacted me.
Okay.
Oh,
I just came out
Yeah.
here to say, hey, but then they're like barking at me and running.
That's what's wrong with this world, because people like you and those other people don't let kids be kids,
I
okay?
know, I have
So we
kids
appreciate you
and I
stopping by.
understand.
We appreciate you stopping by. Have a nice night.
His
nice.
dad gets confronted by a neighbor after his
I think that's beautiful. Like, thank you for stopping by. Let me know. Have a nice night and go piss off. Oh, yeah, that made my day. That made my day right there. It's just like, oh, we need more dads like that. They're just like, they're kids. They're out having fun. They're not sitting around and moaning. They're having a good time. There we go. Let's share this one instead. I want one of these. Look at this thing. Oh yeah, it's an awesome dad. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm with you guys on that. Moms, moms, dads, let your kids be kids. The more that you let your kids be kids, the better, the more fulfilling their life is. Instead of sitting around and whining and crying or becoming like a TikTok influencer, they end up doing things like this. They will end up doing things that are much more productive like this. And if you're wondering what they're doing, they're actually smoothing out a bent rim on a car. They got it on a special lathe that smooths it all out and gets rid of the bad spot, and then they'll redo it. But you see, it just catches that edge. They've got it sped up because lathes usually don't turn that fast, or else you'll destroy the lathe. The blades can't handle that kind of speed. They usually turn it at a much slower speed, but they do speed it up for you. Yeah. See, then kids, whenever they're kids, they come up with creative little things like that to do, or things like this one I'm going to show you. And that's how you widen a road. That is how you widen a road. Speaking of creative, this is a pretty cool one. I saw this earlier, and I was like, I've got to show this to somebody if it'll let me play it. Nope, it's going to be difficult. And there we go. So dude's got a leaf blower attached to an aerial plane. Got the controllers. I mean, come on. How many people want to make one of these now? Think about that. Whoa. That'll fix those damn. Will that fix the damn roads in Michigan? Probably. I hate leaf blowers. But that is really cool. Good to see you, Mask. Good to see you. And then whenever it runs out of battery, you can land it. Yeah, that's pretty damn awesome. I like interesting stuff like that. I get so whenever you if you saw like my YouTube search history, it's things like this that I find interesting. Where's music? Because I got to have music on all this stuff. So pretty interesting way of doing it, but I've got a better way to do this kind of stuff. And give me a second. I'm making sure that it plays through. And here we go. So add this to the stage. So what he does is he throws some string, hooks it up, tightens it up, pulls it really tight, and away he goes, puts it all in, tightens it up, and off he goes. Now, see, that's extra work that he didn't really have to do. And I'll explain here in just a second what he could have done to make it a lot easier. And that's a horrible paint job and horrible patchwork job. But what he should have done is instead of having that big piece, you could have cut it just big enough to fit through the sides right there, drove it through, put those screws on the back side of it in all four corners without poking the extra holes in there. And then he could have just tightened it up with those screws, and then he could have patched over the top of it. That would have been the easier thing to do. But I mean, this is pretty cool and ingenious. It's just taking extra steps to do it. But yeah, pretty cool. It's a hack you can live without. Yeah, put the screws through the backside. That's usually what you do. Just that way you don't have to pull the screws out. And he could have done a lot better job of filling it in. But hey, to each their own. They could do it however they want to. But that's for people wanting to figure something new out. Me personally, I would much rather find like the stud and attach everything like it's supposed to than paper it like it's supposed to be papered and make sure that we don't have any other issues with it. But I do like how they open up emergency doors in this next one. I will show you. I've got to mute it and go back, and here we go. So this is how they're opening up an emergency door. Those emergency doors where you can't get in. It would just been easier to bust the lock instead of doing it this way. Just saying, there would have been a much easier way to do it. This seems like it's taking much more time than it needs to. Because you can see there's a door lock right there. All you have to do is just ram that whole handle. But that's a pretty cool way of doing it, as you'll see. Reach up in there, and you can get the little latch. I guess you could do that if you were worried about like an explosion of fire coming across there, but that little latch on the inside probably would have been easier just to take out. But yeah, that's how they're doing it. Just like that. They reach in, they get that little thing, and then pop it open. Like I said, each their own. Each their own. And I've never seen one of these before. This is a ship. Cool. This is a platform. Yeah, but this is how they set up this platform. That's pretty cool. That was pretty damn awesome. Pretty damn awesome. What time are we getting on? We're getting on 5:38. That's beautiful. Whoa. Yeah, it's supposed to do that. I that's what threw me off whenever I saw that. I was like, how is that supposed to happen? Oh, this one's pretty neat. Well, find it here. See if it'll play it. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. If you haven't seen it, here we go. Let's do it right there. So he does this one. He says 40. So he changes his price to 30. This guy looks at it, pays him 30, buys them, rips them both off, changes it to 60. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's how you should do it. Oh my. Oh my. All right, we're gonna watch someone build a really cool thing. And let me get the thing muted because I don't want to have sound get me in trouble. Why is it not playing? Oh, you little bastard. I gotta make sure that I get don't get in trouble for the music here. And here we go. So a lady takes some pallets, lays them all out, puts pallets around the side, throws another little pallet there in the center, closes it all up. She's doing this all with pallets, and then she throws some stain on it. She's throwing looks like a blue tarp, a little bit of fake greenery, some plants, throws in a couple of bean bags. They do some little sticks, ram them down in there, put a little tarp over it, and look at that. She's got herself a nice little swimming pool. They don't show you how long it took to dig in that dirt, though, and how much time it took to lay all that stuff out. Make sure you get your depth right, get it leveled. Love it. Hey, what is going on? Look at this. MLS, what a wonderful day to be alive. Good morning, all. Just a ghost here popping in to give a thumbs in the chat, a little and off to the ether. Oh, have I ever seen the videos that are on YouTube of 2018 lava flow here? Some crazy videos that leave you yelling at your screen to stop recording and get the hell out of there. I know, it's pretty damn awesome. I've seen the one where they actually dug up the ground, and they had a tractor that was trying to guide the lava flow, which is so damn awesome. Those things are amazing. Yeah, see, this is I throw a whole bunch of like BS news at you guys in the mornings, so you can get like that blood pressure up and worked up, and then I like to end it with something that just sort of calms you down just a little bit, and gives you a little bit of peace and happiness, so your day can just be more enjoyable, and you can think about all of the good things that are going on in the world, because there's a lot of good in the world, a lot of good people in the world, a lot of good things to see, a lot of good places to be. And what I'll do is I'll see if we've got this one. Oh yeah, this one's a really cool one. I've seen things like this before, and we'll full screen it. So this is on a video screen, and supposed to be showing you what kind of day it looks like, or what it looks like. This is pretty impressive. Just watch the reaction. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That would give me a little bit of a heart attack. And let me do this to here, and make sure that it's going to do what it's supposed to. All right, full screen for this one, and we will.
Minha mão também dá um giro igual a sua cabeça.
Yep. Kids are kids.
Que ela vamos, Senhor, interessante.
A vós confiamos essas crianças conduzidas pelo Espírito.
E do Espírito Santo.
Yeah, kids are kids. We love it. We love it. Good morning. I actually live about 1.5 miles from where the lava stopped. I could hear it inside my house. It was crazy. The sky was red for months too. Jeez. Jeez. 1.5 miles. How crazy was that? The sky was all red for months and you could hear it inside your house. Did it sound like creaking or was it the sound of like the ground heating up? So wow. I don't know. It looks pretty relaxing, but I don't think it's going to hold up well. Oh, okay, gotcha. David. So Farrell's been over there doing some stuff with David. It's pretty damn awesome. Glad to see that you guys are doing something and enjoying time. It's so wild. Dawn Gate. This is beautiful. It's been a beautiful day. Beautiful day so far. And sorry everybody for running a little bit late. You know, that is the price that you pay for staying up late. But yeah, I'm still working on getting my schedule down right so I can be more productive in the mornings for you guys, so I can give you just a little bit more enjoyment. Lots of cracks and popples, almost like a campfire sounds, but really much louder. Ooh, that would be crazy. Bless those fathers. Good Lord. Oh, well, speaking of all of the good things that are going to happen today, I will be doing a stream tonight. More than likely, I got a little bit of smudge on my glasses here. More than likely tonight, what I'll be doing is doing some more of the review of the Hales stuff, because I thought that I think it's really cool, sort of getting that timeline down. And of course, I'll probably have a couple of guests on if they so desire to join. Just watching the Hales from beginning to where we currently are, and throwing a sprinkling of updated news in between as it comes in. I'm hoping at some time that I can get the transcripts for all of the hearings, any of the hearings, the audio for a lot of that stuff, which would be awesome. So I can play those in their entirety. I think that those would be really cool. It'd be nice to be able to get the transcripts, because I was talking with Mo and we would do some dramatic readings if we had those transcripts. It would be pretty damn fun. We would have a blast with them and definitely make it entertaining for the rest of you guys. But that's the thing. A lot of that stuff we can't get our hands on, and we don't want to cause any problem for the Hales, because that would be no good. That would be no good at all. We don't like causing problems. And yes, this is just a normal sized coffee cup. I have enormous hands. Just in case you're wondering. Damn, that looked really small in my hand. I never realized that. Just a regular coffee cup. How big my paws are. Good Lord Almighty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick all you fine folks over to go watch Mo. You'll probably be showing up there early. Don't worry about it. If you show up early, just make sure that you hit the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, you can get the notifications. We do this every morning during the week, and on the weekends we take a little bit of time off. I usually watch a little bit of Baker in the mornings, but I do have a couple of other things that I'll be covering. What makes it most difficult is me having to resituate and reorganize right now. I'm actually like in a living room, and I've got my entire office is packed up in various corners of this room because we had a flood. And if you saw any streams earlier, you'll see that I go in my office, but that's usually a plywood plank that's sitting on top of a pair of sawhorses. It's not the most ideal, but I'm waiting on them to come in and do some more things. We might be putting new floor in another room, which sort of takes time away from what I'm doing. And then I've got a pocket door that I'm going to be installing, which will take some time also. But I'm waiting until they get done with what they're doing, so I don't have to worry about interrupting them or disturbing them. Hopefully this weekend I can get that done. And then I've got to order it so it'll get here, and I can work on it this weekend. So I don't know how much streaming I'll be doing this weekend, just because that does take a lot of time. Usually I'll do like something during the week, but I'm wanting to get my garage emptied out so I can go back to doing some more woodworking. That's usually what I would do on the weekends instead of streaming. It's sort of catch-22, you know. If I have my space to do the woodworking and all of that neat stuff, then I don't stream as much. And if I go to stream as much, it's difficult because I don't. It's weird. It's confusing and weird, but that's how it goes. Such is the life of doing this kind of YouTube stuff on the side. But I do have a table that I need to seal up before the carpenter bees go at it again. Little bastards. Those things are annoying as hell. They got a hold of it good last year. I managed to seal up most of the issues that it caused and kill those bad boys off. But they, for whatever reason, they do like the what is it that I made that out of? Not cedar, cypress. Yeah, cypress. They do like to munch on the cypress a lot and tear the hell out of it, which you would think that insects don't like, but carpenter bees, they disagree. They do like the cypress. So with that, I'm gonna kick you guys off of here. Send you over to Mo. Make sure you give her a thumbs up and like and subscribe to her if you're not already. And be on the lookout for tonight. I will do some more of What the Hales, the Florida Man edition. I'm having fun with that. It's so much to do. And maybe today I can get the intro fixed out. There's a couple of little issues that I ran into, and I talked with somebody, and they said, hey, maybe shorten that intro down a little bit. So I'm gonna work on shortening that down and having some fun with it. Anyhow, I will see you guys on the flip side. I'll see you tonight, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And with that, I'm out.
Now I gotta call somebody to come get me because my car turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut.